Maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Director Sonia Garcia, former Regional Director of Tourism of Davao Region, Region 11, who is also a Mandaya. She is my consultant for Indigenous Peoples Affairs and Culture and Art and History, and she was my classmate way back from high school at the Assumption, where she also went abroad for her higher studies, and she is again an IP from the Mandayas of Davao. I'm also very proud to say that I have two very important staff who are with me, who are also members of IP communities. The OIC head of my office has been with me since 1997, a very loyal Ilocana, is actually from Bonto, and that's Yvonne. Ayan. And my personal executive assistant is a Kilijan. She is from Abra. Si Chris Insignia is not with me now. Kaya matagal na akong I want to have more IPs in my office. Hindi lang para masabi na, she walks her talk, but because really, you bring in a different perspective to what, to everyday political events and current events. But before anything else, allow me to thank all of you for being here this morning. Naimbag na bigat, amin na po. Ako'y nagpapasalamat na nandito po at sumusuporta ang National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. I was so, what is the right word to say, so inspired and touched. Literally, tumatayo ang balibo ko nung nagsasalita si Chairman Pawid. Because in my many years, if not decades, in public service and television, I heard messages and messages and messages. But when she spoke about refocusing on who we really are, when she spoke about amidst the din of political noise and the budget hearings and controversies and investigations and all the work we do, sometimes we lose touch of who we really are. When she talked about us and our history, our heritage, our soul, our culture, and building on what really binds us and focusing on what does not divide us, I could actually hear my heart and soul talking things which I have always wanted to say, but perhaps never had the chance to say. But with the chairman of the NCIP who has said it ahead of me and who says it for me, and I thank you very much, Chairman Pawid, for your very kind words, not only because they are kind, but because they are sincere and true, and because you and I and our agencies, both the Senate, the institution, and my committee, and your agency, and all of those presented here today, will work towards a more empowered IP population, IP community in the Philippines, so that all of these years and decades of talk will actually be implemented favorably. I would like to thank Mayor Demola for this very beautiful chant. Again, I've not in a long time heard such a beautiful welcoming message from a local government official who chanted beautifully. I wish I could understand everything. I requested it to find me a chant that is shorter that I could memorize so that maaari ko magpanindigan ang aking pagiging Tokwifi. And thank you very much, Mayor Ferdinand Tuban of Tabuk, who is here today. Mayor of Lorenzo Beltres is here. Thank you from Tuba Benguet. All our mayors who are still to come. I hope I mentioned the two mayors, but there are others still to come. All the regional directors and officials. I will no longer name each and every one of you because you will be recognized hopefully later by our MC, and will have participation because I also want to hear all of you. All the NCIP regional directors I have to mention because we are co-partners in this event. Director Sandro Bukino of CAR, Director Ruben Basteco of Region 1, Director Amado Batayan of Region 2, Director Sinforosa Linares of Region 4B, Director Roberto Almonte of Region 4A. Thank you very much for being here. All of the IPs, leaders, and agencies of government present here today, maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo. Tama po si Chairman Pawid ito ay simula lamang ng ating pag-uusap, which hopefully will lead to action and implementation, because this is the first of actually 4. We will have one for the Visayas to be held in Iloilo and one in Tagum for Mindanao, culminating in the National Summit in Metro Manila. And this is so significant because it is the first, and whatever we gather here, we will actually use as a model in the other regional assemblies. It is therefore with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the first Indigenous Peoples Regional Assembly, which we open and convene today. In convening this assembly, I am particularly grateful to the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples for gathering our IP leaders on Urban Resolve. I, as Senator and as Chairman of the committee, could not have done it alone without the able support of the NCIP. We also thank the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Secretary Paher, the Department of Tourism, the Department of Education, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the International Labour Organization for supporting this initiative. As Chair of the Senate Committee on Cultural Communities and the Committee on Climate Change and Foreign Relations, allow me to briefly share with you the context in which we assembled here today. We have made significant strides in protecting the rights of our IPs over the past 20 years, highlighted by the passage of the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997, before I became Senator, which restored your rights over your ancestral domains and recognized the need to preserve the cultural integrity of your communities. However, significant improvement in the community's socio-economic and cultural well-being is still wanting. Much is desired to ensure improved access to basic health services and education, sustainable development of ancestral lands and resources, economic empowerment, and development of traditional knowledge, skills, and practices. This regional assembly seeks to provide a platform in helping communicate and achieve these objectives through our collective efforts. We envision this assembly to serve as a mechanism to strengthen the voices of the IP leaders as we engage in dialogue with local and national policymakers as well as international institutions. This assembly will hopefully serve as a foundation and focal point upon which a longer-term process of engagement and discussion can be launched and sustained. We invited local government officials, provincial and regional officers of various government agencies, and members of the academy to this gathering, whose presence we deem crucial in documenting this process, enjoining greater support and calling for immediate action. Allow me, therefore, to present to you the components of this two-day assembly. Recognizing that our IPs rely largely on ancestral lands, forests, and watersheds, and are directly affected by the adverse effects of climate change, the DNR will explain the impact of climate change, adaptation measures, and protection of our rights of the IPs and opportunities for engagement in the Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation Plus program. We will also share with you documentaries we have produced like Buhos and Ulan sa Tag-Araw, which describe the science of climate change and present its social, economic, and health impacts on vulnerable populations. Tomorrow, the ILO will hold a capacity building forum for IP leaders on ILO Convention 169, the Indigenous and Tribal Peoples Convention, which espouses IP's right to enjoy the full measure of human rights and fundamental freedom without hindrance or discrimination. The NCCA, NCIP, IP leaders, and cultural workers will present the best practices in preserving indigenous knowledge systems and practices. Successful initiatives that have taken roots in communities and have improved the welfare of IPs will be showcased. We will also hear success stories of IP, cultural enterprise, and creative industries. It is our hope that this exchange of ideas, experiences, and struggles be a beginning of a meaningful and effective dialogue. Let me reiterate that this assembly is essentially a consultation. I wish to take this rare chance of listening and understanding your concerns. The Senate Committee on Cultural Communities and Committee on Climate Change bring its inquiry outside the four walls of the Senate Committee room to gather your views on the committee's priority measures and to help address your needs through legislation and other initiatives. Let me just outline measures for the benefit of our IPs that we intend to prioritize. First, it is of utmost importance that we determine exactly the total population and the location of our IPs. Today, the government uses outdated figures, leading to the inability to address IPs' needs and to provide basic services. This is what impelled me to file Senate Bill 2858, or the Ethnic Origin Act. It is my hope that we finally acquire accurate and aggregated data on our IPs. As a means to protect our indigenous knowledge and cultural heritage, I've also filed Senate Bill 2831, or the Traditional Property Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act, which seeks to make an inventory of all cultural properties and mandates the payment of royalties to our IPs for the use of these cultural properties. I will soon defend in plenary the proposed Anti-Ethnic or Racial Profiling and Discrimination Act of 2011, which seeks to penalize acts of discrimination in employment, education, delivery of goods, facilities and services, accommodation, transportation, media, and in search and investigatory activities. Other proposed measures deal with, first, providing ICCs with access to information and communications technology. Second, the establishment of pilot housing projects in each and every region, which will serve as model human settlements that will adhere to IP's cultures and tradition. Third, creation of the Philippine Center for Studies on Indigenous Cultural Communities in the university, a new 10-year period within which to take appropriate legal action on illegally acquired titles. Fifth, recommending to the DNR the institutionalization of indigenous practices and the widespread utilization of IP's approach to protect Philippine forests. And sixth, inquiring on the implications on IPs of the implementation of the RED and RED Plus programs. And let me add, seventh, in a recent POT hearing, I suggested to the newly designated Secretary of Tourism that perhaps in his tourism program, he should really focus on our national and natural heritage and culture. With 110 indigenous peoples groups in the country, each with its own rituals and dialects and dance and textiles, there is no reason for us not to have a good branding or a good product development because we are rich in culture. Huwag na tayo titingin at maghahanap pa. It is not reinvent the wheel, because while other cultures and other nations like Vietnam, in Hoi An, and in Hanoi have their ethnological museums, and Burma and Laos and Cambodia focus on the richness and diversity of indigenous peoples. Why can we and why don't we in the Philippines do so? Before we open the floor for your views or questions, we will welcome remarks from our local government officials. We also will invite interventions from representatives of government agencies and other sectors. I look forward to a fruitful discussion, and I would like to hear from all of you today. But before that, we would also like to welcome and thank the presence of Mayor Arthur Baldo of Sablan Benguet and Mayor Faustino Agisan of Kabayan Benguet, and Mayor Donato Banglose of Sabangan Mountain Province, and Mayor Simon Lakwasan of Balco Mountain Province, and more local government officials are arriving yet. Maraming salamat po. Just to admin na natin.